All right. Welcome to another edition of Adaptive Rec. Today, Mr. Joe Mornini is going to speak to us. I'd ask that everybody, while he's speaking, please mute your devices so he can speak and will not be interrupted. And
Absolutely.
That's about it. Welcome, Joe.
Thank you very much for inviting me, Ray. I really appreciate it. And what would you like for me to do? I want to make sure that I meet the needs of your organization and this particular session.
You could just tell us kind of a little bit of the background of your organization. That would be great. And then you could talk maybe just a little bit of how people will find you or find your chapters or, that kind of thing. Just
Okay, that's great. I'm happy to do that. So the name of the organization is Team River Runner, and it's a 501c3. We're a nonprofit, and we started in 2004 in late summer, early fall 2004 at Walter Reed, when both Iraq and Afghanistan was sending a lot of the wounded back to that particular facility. Since 2004, we have grown into a pretty large national organization, and our mission is adaptive and adventure paddle sports of any kind throughout the country, wherever we have a chapter. And we have a regular paddling program in about 45 different locations in the country right now. We are free. We don't charge anything. We rely primarily on all of our chapters on volunteers. So volunteers come to learn how to become coordinators, to take on the leadership, to run the chapters, and they build teams to help create a chapter that's going to have regular paddling activities weekly or bi-weekly. Because like I say, we're a lifestyle program where we want to get veterans out with other veterans and volunteers in the community that know how to paddle, paddling regularly in their location. So we rely on local paddlers who want to volunteer for our organization, many of whom already are in leadership positions in their business, or many of our chapter coordinators are actually volunteer veterans themselves who have leadership ability, and they build teams, and then we raise the funds. Our organization, Team Runner, raises the funds to help them with liability insurance, equipment, boats, paddling gear, adaptive equipment, training, and connection with the rest of our program in the country. So I guess to summarize, what we really try to do is create an opportunity for veterans who live with any kind of a disability to come paddle with us. And we have the adaptations and the skills and those to help those chapters and those paddling leadership within those chapters be able to provide a safe and effective adventure paddling activity. If you think about paddling there's all kinds of paddling. There's open water, flat water, lakes, swimming pools, believe it or not, white water, oceans, ponds, bays, and we paddle in all of those locations around the country. So we rely, to summarize, we rely on volunteers. We're free. You can go on our website and look up programs, and then you can see a list of states and then just hit on that state, and it'll tell you where there's a chapter in that state and a contact for how you can contact that particular chapter and how you might be able to paddle with that chapter. We get a lot of our adaptive equipment from a company called Creating Ability, and they make adaptive equipment that can help literally anyone with any type of a disability be able to paddle independently in their own kayak. They have the adaptations for individuals that are missing limbs, that are, thank you, that are live in wheelchairs. And we are also the only program in the world that will help a blind or visually impaired paddler learn how to paddle independently a whitewater kayak. We have taken a number of blind paddlers on a lot of whitewater paddles throughout the country, including the Grand Canyon, as a matter of fact. So we pursue a safe paddling program for veterans all over the country. Maybe I'll stop there for a second and see if any of the folks that are listening to this might have a question. And then I can get into some detail around some of the adaptive devices that we use to make sure that paddling is safe and effective for everyone.
Joe, we had Jim Riley on one of our events, and he has made a new vest that's supposed to help blind people, navigate by vibrations in the vest. Have you heard of that?
Oh God, yes. I was talking to Jim today.
All right.
Yeah. Jim is actually, there's the Blind Veteran Association is having one of its I want to say it's region, Monica Gilmore. They're doing a program. Cargo pants. Now get your second month free. Call Consumer Center. I can hear that. So Monica, they're having a program down in the Virginia Beach area, and Jim's taking his vest down there to help them paddle. But yes, those are something that we have available if we need to. We primarily asked Jim to develop that because we had a veteran, Aaron Hale, who paddled whitewater with us. He was a blind veteran who paddled whitewater, and he got spinal meningitis, lost his hearing, and Jim invented this vest and is now developed it into a really great adaptive device that a person who is blind or visually impaired can use this vest and can paddle independently with a guide who's wearing the guide vest and know where they're going to be going based on the vibrations in the front, the back, or on the sides of the vest. So it's a wonderful and we haven't got a link. He's been building and building and building this program, but we'll have a link on our website to that particular vest eventually. But you can also contact me, and I can put you in contact with Jim if you're interested in that particular device.
We talked to him. I've got his information, but I just thought it was an amazing
Oh, it is. It's awesome.
concept, the way he's doing it. Yeah, it's amazing.
Oh, yeah. It's amazing. I think the one thing I would like for all of you that are listening to know is that, well, primarily, we want you to paddle with us. We want your butt in our boats. We would love for you to look on our website and find a chapter and see if there's some place close by that you can start paddling this season. We want to get you out paddling with us. Or if you know someone, if you know a veteran, we are a military focused program. If you know someone who's having some difficulty right now, who's feeling like they're just not connected, that's why we try to have regular paddling. We know that what's really healthy for veterans, particularly veterans that live with any kind of a disability, no matter whether it's a visible disability or an invisible disability, veterans need to be with veterans, and veterans also like to be with other military individuals or volunteers in the community. And so that's what we do. And we get together regularly and go paddle. And it's just a wonderful thing to be able to connect with others and get out of a dark place that someone might be living in. So if you know somebody that we can help, please refer them to us. Refer them to our website, maybe contact them. Most of our chapters, the coordinators or staff, the volunteer staff within those chapters will reach out and call them and talk to them and try to give them, some ideas about how they can get back, get involved with that chapter and their paddling location and time. So we would really appreciate it if you would spread the word, because we're not as well known as we should be, and I hate to even say this, but we are the largest adaptive paddling program for veterans in the nation. With 45 locations, we've already had nearly 500 different veterans have paddled with us just this year alone. We have thousands of paddling activities annually, and we have, close to 2,000 veterans and their family members paddle with us each year. So, but we'd like to really up that number. We'd like to get more people involved. And we also want individuals that you know that might be able to help us by taking on leadership and or build a chapter. We would love to build chapters where there is no chapter right now for you. So that's another thing that we do. I'm going to Memphis, Tennessee to help start a chapter down there with Calvin Poole. He's got a lot of equipment and a trailer that I took down there last year. So we're gonna kick off his chapter this year. I'm going up to the Hudson Valley to start a chapter there in a couple of weeks. Um, so we love to start chapters where there is a group of individuals, veterans and volunteers and local paddlers who have an interest in creating a lifestyle regular paddling program in their community. So we would love to have you get involved with us and refer to us if veterans and individuals you know that are struggling or are looking for a purpose in life, and we will train you to be a leader, an instructor, a coordinator, and take on a task to help build a chapter. I've said an
Well,
awful lot.
well,
I just
Joe,
kind
this
of,
is Ray Morales.
hey, Ray,
I have a question. What is the address to your website?
it's team, like football team, teamriverrunner.org. Team River Runner, 3 words all together.org.
Okay, thank you.
Joe, what do you tell people who want to do it, but they're a little apprehensive of being in a kayak?
Oh,
With
absolutely.
kayak.
We know that a lot of people they see these videos of people running waterfalls and doing all kinds of crazy stuff. We don't do that. You can. I think the best thing to tell them is that if you're going to go to a chapter where we're going to be very um, careful about listening to what it is that you're concerned about and making sure that you are in a boat that you will feel comfortable in and feel that you can be successful in. The number one thing for a paddling instructor, a kayak instructor, on day one is that you're going to want to come back on day two. So we want to make sure that you're successful and feel safe. So we're going to be taking you just out for as long or as short a period of time as you want. You might be even hook up with a chapter where they paddle in swimming pools, which will feel very safe because you're in a swimming pool and people are standing in the water nearby. Um, I can tell you that paddling is a lot easier than people think. You just need to have, the wherewithal to kind of push yourself a little bit and get into a boat or get on top of sit on top if it's one of those locations and go out and just see how it works. We've been going to the VA Summer Sports Clinic for 15 years, and we have over 100 veterans that paddle with us during that week. And I can tell you that it's very rare that there's a veteran, and I can say truthfully, 1,000 or more veterans at that summer sports clinic with the VA are very successful and looking forward to trying it again. So come out and try it. But we can tell you, the answer to the question is yes. We can understand how you're anxious. It's a new thing. You've never thought about it before. But, we've been paddling kayaks for thousands of years. And it's certainly something you can take on as a great sport for getting out into nature, getting outside, getting some exercise, and being with others, veterans and volunteers in your area. Does
Right.
that help with that question?
Yes, very much. Because I've done a lot of whitewater rafting, and
Oh,
I love being on the water, but I'm just a little apprehensive about getting in that kayak. So,
well, whitewater rafting is well in play, and we have a lot of chapters they do that as well. In fact, we have some chapters where several individuals started paddling kayaks, and then they took up rowing rafts, and they prefer to row a raft. So it's all. If you can paddle it, we have it in our program somewhere. We are an adventure, and we're an adventure paddling program, adaptive and adventure paddling. So we don't use motors. We're not crew. We don't sit backwards. Um, we we paddle and enjoy being outdoors and with each other.
wonderful.
Other questions that you all might have? Another thing that I would let you know is if you're listening to this and you're a little uncomfortable about just doing something out in front of everybody on this particular call, call me. I'm the executive director of Team River. I'm the co-founder of Team River Runner from 22 years ago. And I'm happy to talk to anybody about what we do. I really am. I really feel that we've been very fortunate to find something that is unique and creative and scalable, that we can do in locations all over the country. There's just no state that doesn't have open water somewhere that you can't put kayaks in the water and go out and paddle. I'll tell you a couple things that we do that are kind of unique. We play kayak football, and kayak football is a lot of fun. And my kayak football team, and I'm going to be honest with you, they give themselves a name. I have blind veterans on my kayak football team, and they call themselves the Blind Bastards. And that's because some of them are blind and some of them are bastards and some of them are both. I did not name them that. That's what they named themselves. But if you are visually impaired or blind and you want to play football, we play kayak football with blind veterans, and it's just so much fun. In fact, one of the best quarterbacks in blind football that I know is a veteran who lives in kind of north of Chicago. I think he's in Wisconsin. AJ Muhammad, and AJ is an incredible quarterback, totally blind, but he can paddle that boat as fast and as straight and as hard as anybody that I've ever seen. And when he hears a voice where he's going to hit with the football, he hits him with a spiral that's unbelievable. So you want to play a little kayak football? Come out and paddle with us. You want to get out and get some exercise? Come out and paddle with us. Or you know somebody that you deployed with or that you were in service with and they're having some difficulty, give them our number. Have them come out and paddle with us.
Do you do groups of people too? Like this is
Yeah,
just
we
a,
can. Yeah, we have groups. We have trailers. We can do groups. It depends, but a trailer usually holds somewhere around 12 kayaks. So we do, we can do groups. It depend. You have to kind of depend on the location and the venue. We want to make sure, like I say, we're doing this Blind Veteran Association program down in Virginia Beach area Saturday. Is it this Saturday? No, a week from Saturday. And they needed a trailer with 12 boats. They're doing a group. It'd be a group for their group, so 12 kayaks. So, and then there are some locations where we can use rental kayaks and we can take a larger group. Most chapter paddling sessions that are weekly or bi-weekly are usually about 5 or 6 or 7 veterans and a few volunteers, 5 or 6 volunteers. So like 10 or 12, sometimes up to 15 paddlers, sometimes even less. We're very grassroots. We are boots on the ground, paddle in the water. Let's go paddle. We're not looking for large groups. We're looking for people that want to paddle regularly and then maybe take on some purpose and help us with some fundraising or with outreach or with instruction or taking care of the gear or whatever. There's anything that would help, many hands make light work. So does that help answer that question?
yes, very much.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Uh-huh, sure. Anything else? I mean,
Um,
I'm here for you guys.
just a quick comment. Last fall, last fall, Ray and I went hunting and met up with Lonnie Bedwell. A lot of talking about kayak and stuff like that. That's why I kind of got piqued in interest again, but I'm working my way up to it.
Well, you got to keep working your way towards it. Lonnie's a good friend of mine. I've stayed at his house. He stayed at my house before. He was the officiant for my daughter's wedding. My daughter married a veteran who helped guide him on his first Grand Canyon trip. He was both an Iraq and Afghanistan Navy corpsman in both those deployments, and he found my daughter Megan and married her. And I'm going to go see them next week. But Lonnie was the officiant for that marriage. So Lonnie and I are very close, and he actually has a role with Team Erwin. We call him like our outreach ambassador. So he meets veterans and he says, Joe, you got to call this person,
Yeah.
get them out doing something. Because like I say, these aren't large. We're not getting together every week with 100 people or 50 people or 30. It's whatever, whoever shows up, and we have a boat for them and we go out and paddle, and it's like a bowling league.
Right.
You're going to get together every week or every other week, and it's eyes on, so we can really make sure that people show up. And if they don't show up for a while, we're going to reach out and find out where you been, what's going on. We haven't seen you for a while. Is everything okay? We want to be that program that is being kind and inclusive and supportive, and and creating an opportunity for someone to have the adventure on their level that they want to have.
Well, we've ran into a few organizations that are really, really good at what they do, and you are one of them.
Oh, well, thank you. We appreciate
You know,
that.
the way you take in people, you don't charge them. You just you welcome everybody, and that's a big thing. So appreciate it.
Well, I appreciate that feedback. And if there's ever any problems, and when you have an organization that has literally, and I'm not making this up, thousands of individuals involved, you're going to have a problem every now and then. But we want to know what they are, and we want to address them. We're not going to kick the can down the road. We know there's going to be problems. We know we're going to try to attend to them and make sure that everyone gets treated with the same kind of respect that is due to anybody that comes to us. So we really appreciate that. We want to have a culture of kindness along with adventure. And I hope that some of you are listening to this say, hey, you know what? I think I'm going to go paddle. Um, we love to have veterans that are visually impaired or blind come paddle with us. It's so much joy to go out and paddle together and be connected by voice out on the water. So I hope we'll get more this year.
Yeah, as long as we're not paddling with any crocodiles or anything like that, we're all right.
Now they don't want to. They don't want to have anything to do with you. Now they're fine. We paddle down south where they have moccasins and they have alligators. They don't bother you.
You mentioned this is David King. You mentioned government cutback this year. Can you elaborate a little bit more on that?
Sure. So we are a 501(c)(3). So you can donate to us and it's, tax deductible. And we are veteran centric and veteran focused. That's our mission. Is to work with anyone in the military, active duty or veteran. And for many, many, many years, I would say well north of 10 years, we've been getting a regular VA adaptive sports grant from the Veterans Administration. It's an adaptive sports grant. That grant has allowed us to build our chapter system and develop the training systems that we have throughout the country, and also pay for the pools that we use in the wintertime. Because believe it or not, if you want to be a lifestyle program, you want to try to paddle year round. And in places like, I'm not making this up, Green Bay, Wisconsin, they paddle in the winter in pools.
I can believe that.
So, yeah, and the veterans want to get together and they want to keep building their skills and keep seeing each other. It's both half the joy of Team Roadrunner is the social connections. So we get this grant, and we've been getting it successfully year after year after year, and we've always hit our metrics. We've always hit the numbers of veterans that we say that we're going to hit in the locations we're having programs. But over the last 2 years, it's been cut approximately 60%. So we've been trying to make up that money with other funding revenue, but hey, we're a small nonprofit. We're every year I consider ourselves a startup, and I'm the founder. So we're like every year it's a startup year. Let's see if we can find the money to backfill so we can have that program or have the next program. So we hope the next funding cycle comes through in the next month, and we will write it up and we'll see if we can increase the funding from the VA for the future. But the writing's on the wall that we're going to have to continue to build a funding revenue stream that is less reliant on the VA. Although I will tell you, for the last 10 to 12 years, our pretty successful chapter system, we built a lot of the equipment and training and pool through that VA grant. It was very, very helpful to have that. And then the other funds that we raise is so we can pay for veterans to get the training and to get the transportation to come to some of our leadership clinics where we train veterans to be leaders within the clinics. So we nickel and dime our way there. We'll figure it out. I get up every morning, I just say, we're going to do the right thing and we're never going to give up.
Good.
We're always going to have veterans, and there's always going to be sending you all into some place that is going to be difficult. And we know that when you return, we want to be there for you.
Good attitude.
Does that answer your question?
Yes, it did well. I think there was a part two, but I think you kind of covered it. So how has that made you adjust to it this year? And I think you kind of covered it pretty earlier.
We have a very creative revenue system. Our board of directors helps set it up. We go to large companies, and we have an annual fundraising activity with those large companies where we only ask for, I mean, we're talking multi-million-dollar companies. We want $5,000 from that company. That's it for a year. And we put a logo of their company on one of our kayaks. We call it a boat sponsorship. So they sponsor a boat year after, and some of those companies have been doing it for 10 or 15 years. So if we get the more companies that we get that will put those logos on, that'll backfill where we miss some of that revenue from the VA grant. Right now, we have about, I don't know, 75 companies that do that for us right now. And we certainly would like to up that number to, 100 or 125. And then we'd be less reliant on the grant from the VA and more reliant on, these companies, wanting to support veterans. And, I literally tell companies, I really don't want $100,000 from you because that'd be for 1 year and then I spend it. And then the next year I have a hole in my budget. How about 5,000 this year? And for the next 20 years, you give us $5,000. And then I know we have the revenue to have a successful, safe, and adaptive adventure program for veterans. So if you know any companies out there that I can contact, we need names. I need to talk. It's hard for someone like me. I'm just a dirtbag kayaker. It's hard for me to find someone in possession of the reins of a large company that can say, yeah, we can make that happen. $5,000, that's not so much. It's a rounding area for some of these companies. And so we'd like to get as many of those companies involved as we can to help the veterans. And their veterans in their program can come volunteer for us. The veterans in those companies can come and paddle with us. We want a relationship with them. We don't want just their money. We want their veterans. They may have some veterans there that have leadership skills. They'll say, yeah, I want to do this on the side. I want to, help that program in my community. So we want to be community based and spread, the joy of paddling throughout the country wherever there's water. That's what we want to do.
Awesome.
Is there a donation place on your website?
There is, of course.
Yeah. I thought you said that. You might have said that earlier, but I couldn't remember. Sorry. But yeah, we'll definitely put the word out if we can.
Put the word out, please. And again, my phone number is easy to find and I'm easy to call. You just call me. If I don't answer, I'll see the number and I'll call back. Just leave a message and I'll call back.
Hey, Joe, this is Ray again. I'm just wondering, is it okay if I put your phone number on the website or on this video chat?
301-233-8882.
Thank you.
He said it.
When I edit it, I'll put that at the bottom of the screen for all the veterans listening.
301-233-8882.
Thank you.
I can't promise that I'll be able to solve any question that someone has, but I certainly will make it an effort. 45 chapters sounds like a lot, and it is for us to try to run it, keep up with all of running a nonprofit is not for the faint of heart. I can tell you that from firsthand experience over the last 22 years. But I will tell you that it's a huge country and there's a lot of veterans that are in underserved areas. And if there's a body of water there and there's paddling community, we would love to be able to have the funds to be able to outfit that chapter, give it the liability insurance and the training that it needs to be able to help those veterans at an underserved area in rural areas of the country or communities that don't have as much adaptive sports availability. But we would love to be able to do that. So we're always looking for individuals that want to start a leadership team in their community to build a chapter, and then we will see what we can do to get it going. A lot of the chapters raise money locally, which is then the money is used locally for that chapter. So there's potential to have more chapters. We just need to have individuals that are willing to take on a purpose in their life and start a chapter and work for it. That help?
Amazing. Yes.
I think that was Ray who asked that question.
Let's see how.
All right.
Any more questions? Nobody?
I'm always available. If anything pops into your head after this is done, you give me a call. I'll write your number down and call you back if I don't get to it immediately. I'm really appreciative of being able to spread the word about what we're doing. I can tell you straight up, we've got some volunteers in this country that are doing things with veterans that is, I I can't even put words to it. We call them unicorns. They're very rare. They don't exist. They do exist right here in Team River Runner, helping veterans and helping their family members day in and day out. And it's inspiring to know these folks. You know, I'm very lucky to have the hundreds of people that keep this thing going year after year after year. And I hope you all will come paddle with us and maybe take part in some of the leadership, and maybe you'll know somebody that we can help, one veteran at a time, one military person, one family at a time. Let's try to help us out.
I think that is an opportunity for a lot of people who have nothing to do. This would be quite an adventure, an excitement. So we definitely want to make sure we're plugging in people to those opportunities.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
This is Terry. I have a canoe in my yard that I bought for $150. Is a kayak more than that, or around? What do they usually cost if you wanted to buy a kayak?
You want to get a used kayak, and you give me a call. You got my phone number, 301-233-8882, and I can talk to you about where you're going to be paddling, and I'll get a little bit more details from you than on this phone call, and we can talk about what you want. Used kayaks are relatively inexpensive.
Well,
New kayaks are kind of expensive.
I have
Whitewater
a 24
kayaks
foot.
I'm sorry, what?
I have a 24-foot swimming pool.
That's the canoe
And
you have, right?
No, my swimming pool is 24 feet. My canoe is 16 feet.
What's
I
the
put it in my
24 foot?
pool. I put it in my pool every once in a
Swimming
while
pool.
from my grandkids. They like it.
Well, of course they do. The kids love boats. Messing around in boats is the most fun for a kid you can ever have.
I need a kayak with training wheels.
There's all kinds of kayaks out there that you can use. Just give me a call. We'll talk about it.
Help them, Joe. Help them, please. Please help them.
Well, I'll see what I can do. I can't make any promises. I've been around a long, long time and been a paddler for, well, let's see, I guess 43 years. And I started when I was 30, so you could do the math. So I've been in this paddling industry for, 4 decades plus, and I'm happy to give what little knowledge I might have to help out folks.
Well, your energies and effort are well appreciated. We look forward to seeing you as well as sending others to your way, buddy.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Another question, Joe. This is Ray.
Hi, Ray.
Has anyone ever paddled from the top of the Mississippi River to the bottom of the Mississippi River?
Several times. In fact, one of our veterans did it as well. And we also had a veteran paddle the length of the Potomac River as well. And right now we have a veteran in our Fort Belvoir chapter that's going to paddle all the way around Ireland.
Oh, wow.
So we have some great adventures with our paddlers in this organization that just stuns me sometimes. So yeah, they've done that. Sure.
Okay.
Wow. It's a lot of paddling.
A lot of paddling out there. Kayaks were invented thousands of years ago by up there in the cold areas of the world. And the kayaks, the word kayak can be whittled down into a number of different meanings, but one of the meanings is work boat. And they would make it out of bone and driftwood and seal skin. And those paddlers would sew themselves into the boat and go out and hunt seals to keep their families alive. So kayaks have been used to keep their families alive in native cultures for a very, very, very long time. And we use kayaks as a work boat for healing and empowering. So we hope you will get in one of our work boats.
All right.
Awesome.
All right. Well, any more questions?
No.
All right, Joe, thank you for coming on. We appreciate you very much. And like we said, we will spread the word. And we'd
Thank
like to
you.
have you on probably, in next year or in a few months or something like that too. So,
You let me know what you need and I'll be available.
all right. Sounds good. Thank you, Joe. Appreciate it
All
very
right.
much.
You all take care. You all have a great
Thank you.
evening.
All right.
Thank
You too.
you,
Bye.
Thank you,
Bye.
Joe.